Hello, fellow midlifers. Welcome to the channel. Today I am sharing my experience regarding BRRRR versus Turnkey. In the end, I'll share what my preferred strategy is for my personal situation. If you're new here, I'm Jean. I bought my first rental at 40 and have slowly been buying one rental at a time. I'm sharing my journey in real estate investing in midlife. Let's start with some definitions. A turnkey property is a property that you buy that you can literally just turn the key and you can live in it. In the context of a rental, it's something that you don't really have to do much work or rehab on it. You can buy it and list it for rent the next day. However, turnkey rentals are usually listed at market value. It's very difficult to buy a turnkey property at a deep discount. And if you are an investor, you would be competing against homeowners who usually are less price sensitive and don't really care about cash flow. On the other hand, a BRRRR property, BRRRR, is a property that you buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. It's a more advanced strategy for more seasoned investors. I would not recommend this if you're doing this with your first rental. You need more than just deal analyzing skills for a BRRRR. You need some kind of rehab knowledge to pull this off, and you need to know how to estimate costs. The first two rentals that I bought were turnkey properties. I didn't know the first thing about real estate investing, although I did read a lot of books and watched a lot of YouTube videos. For these two properties, they were listed for rent. The very next day, we closed on the property and we found a qualified tenant within 2 weeks of the deal having closed. I searched for 2 years before buying the next property because I couldn't find one that would cash flow as a turnkey property. And so I found this property that needed some work. I was able to buy it at a discount, and I thought it would be a great time to try a BRRRR. I was 2 years into real estate investing, and while I read a lot of books and even read a book on BRRRR, it was a book by David Green. In hindsight, I didn't know so many things. I bought the property for $96,000. According to my numbers, it needed $20,000 worth of work. And after rehab, it would be worth $160,000, and I planned to refinance it then. There were several things that didn't go as expected with my BRRRR. The first was that I underestimated repair costs, even if I thought I was already being very conservative. The rehab ended up costing $27,000 instead of my original budget of $20,000. The second thing that didn't go as expected was that interest rates started creeping up during the rehab period. So after the rehab, when we were able to find a tenant, the refinance just didn't make sense anymore because the deal wouldn't cash flow with a refinance. So I ended up leaving the money in the deal and couldn't pull it out and recycle it for the next deal. My only saving grace was that I bought it at a 30-year fixed rate of 6%. So here are some pros and cons of a turnkey property versus a BRRRR. A turnkey property has a higher upfront cost, but less variables in terms of rehab. Turnkey properties, in my experience, can be listed for rent the very next day. With my turnkey properties, we were able to place a tenant and collect rent even before the first mortgage payment. So that's nice. You already have that first mortgage payment funded by the tenant. And third is that turnkey properties are probably a good fit for the first deal or the first few deals, since if you're new in real estate investing, you're still learning a lot of things. BRRRR properties, on the other hand, can be bought at a deeper discount, but has a higher risk because of the variables of a rehab. Second thing with BRRRR properties is that you need to be very good at estimating rehab costs. And then the third thing is that there are external forces like mortgage rates, which affect your ability to refinance a BRRRR. My honest conclusion after this is that today I actually prefer turnkey properties over BRRRRs, at least for now. This is my personal preference based on my experience and what I know about myself. At the time of this recording, interest rates are around 6.5%. I prefer to do as little rehab as possible. I also invest out of state, so managing a rehab is a little more challenging than if it were in my backyard. Here's something that I learned as I grew as a real estate investor. BRRRR was such a great strategy when interest rates were low. If interest rates are in the 3 to 5%, then that's probably a really great strategy. But when interest rates go up, the cost of capital goes up as well, and therefore the debt becomes more expensive. That's why when I was looking into refinancing my BRRRR, it would no longer cash flow. There are good seasons for certain strategies, and in a high interest rate environment, BRRRR is less feasible. Again, my opinion, my experience, other investors might have other opinions, but BRRRR is less feasible, not impossible, if you're after cash flow. I hope sharing my experience helps someone a few steps behind. If this video helped you, I'd appreciate a like, and I hope that you'd consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.